Good morning, my friends. Welcome to episode 23 of the Reluctant Chaplain Bible Study Podcast. We are in the final chapter of James, chapter 5, and it's probably going to take this plus maybe two more to finish it up because there's an awful lot packed in here um, that I still won't do justice, not with these short little clips, and especially with my lack of academic knowledge on Greek and stuff like that, but we will do our best to shine some light on these pages for you. Hopefully, bring a little bit more clarity if there's anything you don't understand. Going through uh, Matthew Henry's commentary, MacArthur's commentary, the commentary on Logos. I'm not sure which one that is. And I spoke with Professor Hicks because I had some questions last night on some of this. He's kind of my lifeline on these things. So my notes are all over the place, but we'll do our best to bring it to light. I'm just really impressed at how packed this stuff is, and how much application there is just in the first half of James chapter 5. As per usual, I will read from the ESV Reformation Study Bible first, and then I will read from the NET Full Notes version as well right after that. So let me kind of arrange my nightlight here. Pardon me if I'm partially off camera. And we're going to read verses 1 through 6 today. 1 through 6. All right, here we go with the ESV. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on the earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you. That's kind of a blistering rebuke, huh? Wouldn't call that motivational reading for the day. You're not going to see a coffee cup with those verses, right? I don't know. Maybe it would sell. Okay, here we go. The NET Full Notes version. Come now, you rich, weep and cry aloud over the miseries that are coming on you. Your riches have rotted, and your clothing has become moth eaten. Your gold and silver have rusted, and their rust will be a witness against you. It will consume your flesh like fire. It is in the last days that you have hoarded treasure. Look at the pay you have held back from the workers who mowed your fields. Cries out against you, and the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of the Lord of heaven's armies. You have lived indulgently and luxuriously on the earth. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered the righteous person, although he does not resist you. Again, you're not going to see a coffee cup with those particular verses on them. Highly unlikely. Okay. All right, so we're only handling verses 1 through 6. I tried to break this up somewhat logically with a little bit of help from the commentaries, as 1 through 6 is is a rebuke, a strong rebuke against what we'll just loosely categorize as the sinners, and then 7 through 11 is an encouragement for the saints of the church. So James is echoing Christ's word of warning from Luke here, Luke 6:24. Woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. Okay, so first off, let's talk about this the whole rich thing. So it's not necessarily evil. Wealth is not necessarily evil. It's the worship of wealth. Um, just to paraphrase the scripture, a lot of people misquote it, saying that money is the root of all evil. And it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. You cannot serve two masters and all that. So it's not wealth itself. And he is addressing this to, uh, we're pretty sure he's addressing it to people that are actually attending the Christian church, because this letter is largely written to Christians that are being persecuted, and a lot of them, have converted. They were wealthy Jews that converted, and they're in the church, but they haven't like fully converted with their hearts. They still love their money, they still love their wealth. So this is kind of a blistering warning towards those people. And there's also echoes of warning against the people in the past, the rich in the past that have oppressed the poor, used their money to oppress the poor. He's certainly not talking about the Christians here oppressing the poor, because they didn't have that kind of power. Not in this point in history, for sure. They were being persecuted pretty openly and pretty hideously at this time period. So again, he's not going after wealth so much, but he is going after the conscience of the people that are in the church, um, that aren't really can't really classify them as believers because they still love their money more than they love the Lord. Okay, condemn and kill the just. Man, that's a reference to the Old Testament right there. I don't think any of these guys that are in the church are actually killing their fellow believers, but this kind of behavior would lead to that kind of thing eventually. If their hearts aren't changed, they're just going to revert to their old ways. Let's see, lots of notes, but they are all over the place, so please forgive me. Okay, so this particular of rich folk limited to faithful and persecuted them terribly. Ignore that. All right. So James foretells judgment on them. He's not naming anybody here. He's not even naming the people in the church. This is just kind of a broad warning. Like this letter was written to the Christian church, so he is, while it's being read in the Christian churches, he knows it's being read to the people that are sitting in the churches that aren't necessary believers. Okay. James foretells judgment on them, judgment so awful that it would make them weep. Their miseries will come from the way riches had been used to exploit other people. So these people should be terrified about what will come if their behavior doesn't change. So let me read some relevant passages here, and just for consistency's sake, I'll read them all out of um, the NET version here. So the first one is, these are all relevant texts to what's going on here. Luke 16:13. I think you're going to see they're all kind of New Testament and Old Testament warnings against the rich. Let's see. Luke 16:13. I'm turning the pages as fast as I can. Do you ever notice how long Luke actually is? Luke may be my favorite New Testament gospel. I don't know. It changes from week to week. Okay. Let's go for a little more illumination here because my old man eyes can't handle it. All right. Luke 16:13 says, two pages I can't pull apart here. The law and the prophets were in force until John. Since then, the good news of the kingdom of God has been proclaimed, and everyone is urged to enter it. But it is easier for heaven and earth to pass away than for one tiny stroke of a letter in the law to become void. That is not the passage I meant to read to you. I just read 16 instead of 13. Hey, you got a bonus verse there. Good for us. All right, here we go. 16:13. Gosh, these numbers are tiny. No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoured to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. Okay, now let's pop over to Matthew 6, verse 19. See if we can get to Matthew 6 faster than I got into Luke here. Matthew. Here we go, Matthew 6, and we want 19 through 21. Okay, here we go. Actually, I'm going to read 19 all the way to 24. Do not accumulate for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and devouring insect destroy and where thieves break in and steal. But accumulate for yourselves treasures in heaven where moth and devouring insect do not destroy and thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is the lamp of the body. If then your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is diseased, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is a darkness, how great is the darkness? No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money. There it is again. MacArthur, in his commentary, says it's also a call to uh, examine the true state of their hearts in light of their love of wealth. Okay? And there are echoes here of Old Testament prophets who rebuke the wicked wealthy. So I'm only going to read a couple of those because man, there's a lot of them, and that's not any. Like I didn't even get into Proverbs on what Proverbs has to say about it. But Isaiah alone here, we'll just do a couple from Isaiah and one from Amos. So this will be Isaiah chapter 3. Speaking of long epistles, or not epistles, long books, Isaiah is incredibly long. All right, Isaiah 3:13. Why is it always the tiny little page that won't pull apart? The Lord takes his position to judge. He stands up to pass sentence on his people. Yep, okay. All right, Isaiah chapter 10. I'm hurrying. Isaiah chapter 10, verses 1 to 4. Beware those who enact unjust policies, those who are always instituting unfair regulations to keep the poor from getting fair treatment, and to deprive the oppressed among my people of justice, so they can steal what widows own and loot what belongs to the orphans. What will you do on Judgment Day when destruction arrives from a distant place? To whom will you run for help? Where will you leave your wealth? You will have no place to go except to kneel with the prisoners or to fall among those who have been killed. Despite all this, his anger does not subside, and his hand is ready to strike again. All right. And let's just do one more from Amos, which I just found. There it is. All right, Amos 4, 1 through 3. And then I'm going to give you a bunch more verses, and you guys can look them up on your own. All right, 4, 1 through 3. Listen to this message, you cows of Bashan who live on Mount Samaria. I'm sorry, not Mount Samurai. Well, that would make the Bible more exciting, wouldn't it? Listen to this message, you cows of Bashan who live on Mount Samaria. You oppress the poor, you crush the needy. You say to your husbands, bring us more to drink. The sovereign Lord confirms this oath to try his own holy character. Certainly, this time is approaching when you will be carried away in baskets, every last one of you in fishermen's pots. Each of you will go straight through the gaps in the walls. You will be thrown out towards Harmon. The Lord is speaking. So, another very harsh warning against the rich. So, also, um, guys, have the time, look up Amos 8, 4 to 10. I should have just gone ahead and read that. Job 24, 2 to 4. Jeremiah 5, 27 to 29. Micah chapter 2, 1 to 5. Malachi chapter 3, verse 5. Like I said, I didn't even get to Proverbs or anything like that. So, so much going on here. And it's super applicable wisdom here in this book from James. Um, I don't think I need to tell you what it means to, you know, not flaunt your wealth or abuse your wealth or anything like that, and treat those under you. Well, wealth can be broadly defined as more than money. A lot of us, I consider myself very wealthy. If you look at my bank account, you may strongly disagree with me, but I'm certainly blessed and very rich in a lot of ways, as all of you are as well, if you take the time to stop and think about it. So great stuff from James here. Very broad. Um, the early church is known for being really giving and generous. So this warning It makes sense why James is doing that. Like I've said in other studies, the problems that we have today are not new. They've been going on for thousands of years. You look at the things the early church were doing, we're still doing the same stuff until Christ comes back and fixes it all. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I will put out my useless plea to please hit the like button if you actually watch these things. I see they're getting views, but nobody actually hits the like button. So it's not monetary. It's strictly for my own just making me feel good, just for my own self-esteem that people are actually watching the videos and liking them. So that's it, guys. I will see you for number 24. We will get into the James 5 verses 7 through 11 with a message to the saints of the church, which will be much more encouraging. I promise. No strong rebuking, no wrath. Love you guys. Take care.